In today's video I want to show you how to fully customize your XFCE4 environment. We are going to install a new application dock, some widgets on the desktop with Conky, and also we are going to install new themes for the XFCE4 Desktop. This video is going to be a bit longer than usual, but you can check all the timestamps in the description below. So let's start with the video. The base for this setup is going to be a Debian proot environment. You can check in my repository that I will leave the link in the description of this video. If it is your first time with Termux, I recommend you seeing these videos first, but I'm going to install everything from the beginning. So in Termux, I take into consideration that you have the basic packages already installed, like proot distro. We are going to install the Debian environment with the command you saw. Then we are going to log in. And the first thing we need to do is update and upgrade the distribution with the commands sudo apt update and apt upgrade. After that, we are going to install the basic packages that we are going to need. Here you can see that we are installing sudo, nano, add user, and the environment, XFCE4. We are going to install also the terminal for this environment, the XFCE4 terminal. After the process finishes, we can create a new user. In my case, I will create a new user called Droid Master, but you can name it as you want. And we're going to type the password for that user. After that, we need to give this user a sudo permission. So we're going to modify the sudoers file. We're going to the root line and we are going to add it for Droid Master. To save the changes, you can press Ctrl O and to exit Ctrl X. Now we are going to move to that user that we have just created with the command you are seeing. We are going to check that we have sudo permissions. So if you write sudo who am I, you should see root. Now we are going to exit the proot environment and we are going to launch the graphical desktop. To launch the graphical desktop, you can check that in my repository we have this script. So you can just copy this command and paste it into Termux. When you paste it into Termux, you are going to download a file and we are going to execute that file. When you run this file, Termux X11 will be open and you will see the XFCE4 Desktop. Now we are going to open the terminal and we are going to create the folders for the themes and the icons with the commands that you are seeing right now. After that, I will show you how to install Chromium browser. So we have an internet browser, so we can go to the repository and copy and paste some commands. Remember that you can add the Chromium browser to the bottom panel, but we need to do a minor change. Here we are going to remove the default browser. We are going to add Chromium, but we need to modify the properties. So click on that button, go at the end of this line and add no sandbox. That way we will be able to run Chromium from the bottom panel. So when we have finished, you can just click on the icon and wait until the browser opens. Now we are going to open my repository, so we have the different commands to copy them. In the Debian section, you can go to the customization part and we are going to start with the first commands. With these commands, we are going to replace the default menu from the XFCE4 Desktop and we are going to improve it a bit. When we paste a command, we can disable this notification so it doesn't appear anymore in the terminal. We are going to execute the commands and check that this is the default menu. And we are going to modify it. So we are going to the preferences in the panel. We are going to add a new entry and we are going to look for Whisker. This is the new menu we are going to use. So you can move it. So we are going to place it just next to the default menu. And we are going to remove the old one. Just click on remove and accept. Now if you deploy it, you can see that we have a search bar in the bottom panel and we have the applications organized in categories like before. Now, to fix the Chromium browser not launching from this new menu, we are going to modify this again with the no sandbox tags. The same applied to Visual Studio Code. And now if we click here in Chromium, we will see that we can run it. After this, we are going to modify the appearance of this menu a bit, so you just need to right click on it, go to Properties and go to the second tab into the appearance. Here I like to have the categories of the applications in the left and also I like to have some text next to the icons. So you can change application for example and place menu so it is shorter. I like also changing the default icon to use the Debian icon, the Debian logo. So you can put it here whatever icon you prefer. We have just finished with the menu, but now we are going to install a nerd font, so we will use it later when we customize the terminal. For this, you just need to paste into the terminal the command from my repository. So you just need to paste it and select the font that you prefer. In my case, I will select the number 46, but you can select any other. Wait until the process finishes and reopen the terminal. After that, we can go to the Appearance menu and select the font that we have just installed. But remember that you need to restart the terminal or it won't appear here. For now, we have finished with the terminal, but later in the video I will show you how to install STARSHIP to customize it. So let's continue with the video and install some themes. These themes will change the appearance of the general menus and the different applications like the File Explorer, and you can install it with the terminal. The first command, apt search, is for searching all the different available themes, and the second command is to install one of them. This is the usual approach to install different things, but later in the video I will show you some new things that I discovered from a guy in GitHub that are pretty cool. But for now, just let's select one of these that we have just installed. Remember that we need to change also the window manager, so let's go to the settings, window manager part, and here we're going to select again the theme that we have just installed, or you can combine it with another one. After this, we can continue and start with the icon themes. Here you will have all the different commands to look for different icon themes and to install some of them. In this case, I will install Papyrus theme, and the bad part is that I don't know why this will take a while. But after the process finishes, we can go again to the settings, appearance, but this time to the icons tab. Here you have all the icons themes that you have just installed, and when we click on it, we can check that everything changes. Just to finish with the basic customization, we need a nice looking wallpaper. So I leave you here some of the pages that I use. The first one is Wall Heaven, the second one is Wallpaper Cave, and the third one is one called Free Pick that is usually used just for icons, but I discovered recently that they had a wallpaper section and is powered by AI. So they have a ton of different wallpapers and they are from a good quality. In this case, I will take first this one, but later in the video I will show you the one that you saw on the intro. So let's download the wallpaper and change it from the desktop settings. You need to select the folder where you downloaded the image, open it, and now you can select the wallpaper. Okay, so we have just finished with the basic customization, and now we are going to modify the bottom panel. We are going to replace it with a dock called plank, so we need first to remove the bottom panel. You can select here the second panel and remove it. So now let's run plank to see how it looks, but we will modify it later. You can Ctrl+C in the terminal to stop it, and we are going to run plank with the preferences. So run this command, plank -- preferences, and here we are going to put some zoom. So when you hover the mouse over the icons, you see that they zoom a bit, and we are going to modify the theme with transparencies, so it doesn't have this bottom black bar. With that, we have finished customizing plank, but we need to run it from the start, so we don't need to run any command in the terminal. So look for this menu, the startup and session menu, and add a new entry. We are going to call it plank, and the command is going to be just plank. So click on OK, close it, and restart the desktop. So we are going to close Termux X11, Ctrl+C to stop everything, and run again the start command. Now you can see that in the bottom part we have only one icon, so let's add some more. We are going to open the terminal, so you see the icon, you can right click and check the box that says keep in dock. We are going to do the same with Chromium, with the Sonar File Explorer, or with all the applications that you want. So you can see that now all the icons are in the bottom panel. Now we are going to continue with the new things that I discovered. I think they are really cool and they are different from what you are used to see in other videos. So let's clone this repository, but we are going to clone it in the themes folder. So just go to the themes folder and git clone and the link that we have just copied. You will see there is a folder from the repository. So we are going to remove some files that we don't need, like the license, the readme, and also all the images that are in the folder. We can go again to the themes folder and copy all the content from this folder that we have just cloned into the themes folder. Also, you can remove the original one because now it is empty. And if we go to the settings, to the window manager, we can change it. So you have here all the new themes that we have just installed. And you can see that the borders of the windows changes and they are pretty cool. I personally like the last one. We have several buttons to minimize, close and a lot of different things. So I will keep with that. Don't close this window because we are going to use more repositories that this user has. So we are going to this one, GTK themes collection. We are going to do like before. We are going to clone this repository into the same folder. So we are going to deploy this button, copy the link, go to the terminal and git clone at the URL. After that, we are going to the GTK theme collection folder and we are going to do the same thing. We are going to remove the license, we are going to remove the readme and also all the images. After that, we are going to copy the content from this into the themes folder. And also you can remove the GTK theme because now it will be empty. These themes can be activated through the other window. So if we go to the settings again, to the appearance part, we will see that we have here and not in the window manager part, the new menus. So take a look to all of them and select the one that you like the most. In my case, I will select the one called Noita because I like purple accents. Now we are going to restart again the desktop, so we have everything from scratch and we are going to modify the top panel. Here you can modify the length of the panel, so I like to minimize it and place it on the half of the screen. Now we are going to lock again the panel so we don't move it without noticing. And now I want to show you a quick tip on how to modify the looks of the workspaces. So if we go to the top menu, we are going to click on workspaces settings and you can modify the name with just letters A, B, C and D or 1, 2, 3, 4. Save it and then go to the preferences of this workspace. Now change this option and now you can see that we have the numbers instead of the other squares. I think this looks way more aesthetic. And if you don't know how the workspaces works, in each workspaces you can have different applications, and if you change from one to another, you have that applications open. So as I commented you before, this is the wallpaper that I'm going to use because I think it looks way nicer with all these settings. And now here I will modify also the clock. So I like to have the clock center, not just in one of the sides. So for that we need to play with the separators. We are going to add a new separator and place it next to the clock. And also you need to click on the expand option so it places in the middle, more or less. In addition, you can change the information that the clock displays. You can just set the date or just set the time, but I will set just the time. By default it's way small, but you can just make it bigger. So you can also put it if you want to see the seconds, just the minutes or whatever you prefer. And to continue with the top panel, we're going to apply like a theme. We are going to go to this repository that I will leave the link into the description of this video, and we can just follow the instructions. You can see here some preview, but we just need to copy these commands to clone the repository. We don't need to do it in the themes folder, we can do it where we want. So just clone the repository and copy and paste these other commands. With that, the theme will be applied, and the only thing that we have pending is to restart the panel. So if we go to the repository, we just need to copy this command and execute it into the terminal. When it finishes, you can see that in the top part, the colors has changed. So basically we have just applied like a theme to the top part. And just to finish, we can change the background. So we put a transparent color. So you just need to add a new color and move this bar. With that, you can see when you close this that the top part is now transparent, so only appears the windows that we have opened. So once we have this done, we are going to move to the next step. In this case, we are going to customize the terminal with STARSHIP. So we go to the official page and copy the command that they have here, execute it in the terminal, and for this we are going to need the NER font that we installed previously in the video. So just here click on Y, write a Y to accept the process, and when it's finished, you can see that here you find some instructions. We need to copy the line for the shell we use. In this case we are using bash, so we need to copy this line and paste it into the file that they say here, into the bash rc. So let's go to that file, which is in the root folder, in the home folder for the user we are, and go down until there is no more text. Once you reach the end of the file, you can just paste the line we copied before. Ctrl-O to save, Ctrl-X to exit, and now we can restart the terminal or just write bash. We are now in STARSHIP, but we are continuing with the customization. If you go to this menu, you can see that we have a preset section, and in this part we have different things that we can apply. So take a moment to see all the things that are available, but I will select this one because I like the colors. Click on the title, and here you have the instruction to install it. So we just need to copy this line and execute it in the terminal. So go again to the terminal, paste it, and wait a bit. After it finished, you can see that right now we have the thing applied and everything is working fine. We are going to install LSD to improve a bit the ls command. So if you use LSD instead of ls, you can see the icons next to the text. We are going to create also an alias, so every time we use ls, we are calling LSD in its place. So go to the alias part on the bash rc file and write this, alias ls equals to LSD between quotes. Just Ctrl-O, Ctrl-X and write bash to restart the terminal. We are going to apply also a new color palette to the terminal. So you can go to this repository, clone it into any folder you want, for example in documents, and go inside the folder that has just been created. Here you can see that there is an install script, so just execute it, and that theme is applied. The color palette is added to the terminal. So if we go to preferences, colors, you can select here the new palette. And as you can check, here all the colors have changed a bit, and if we write ls, we are using LSD. Another tool I want to show you is this launcher. This allows us to just launch an application with a shortcut in the keyboard. If we write, for example, Ctrl-Enter, a bar will appear, so we can write Chromium or Terminal and launch an application. So if we go to the page, you can download the dev file and install with the command you're seeing right now. When I installed the program, I had an error, so probably you have the same. And to fix it, you can run just first an update, and then the command you see right now, iapt fix broken install. So execute the command, and after that you can install again the dev file with the first command we used, like I'm showing right now. With this program we can just execute any program we have installed in our distro, very comfortable. We just need to run it looking for the program in the menu that we have installed before, but the first time I recommend you executing it from the terminal, so we can modify the shortcut to launch the program. This is the menu. I'm going to change the hotkey to Ctrl-Enter instead of the default one because it was not working for me, and I'm also going to change the theme from light to dark. Now every time I press Ctrl and Enter, you can see that I have a bar to look for any program in the distro. So for example, you can run a terminal, you can run the web browser, or you can run whatever. Now I will show you how to install Conky. This program allows us to install different widgets on the desktop. So for example, you can install it and run Conky to see the default widget, which is very ugly, but this is the default one. And I will show you this repository from the same guide as before, where you can find different themes. One thing I recommend you when installing a theme, you can modify and customize it, because sometimes the colors are not properly displayed, but I will show you in a moment. we have cloned this repository, and now we are going to navigate to the folder where all the things are installed. We are going to .config and the Conky folder. Here you will find everything from the repository we have just cloned. You can activate any of the different widgets that are inside these folders with the command you're seeing right now. Also, I will show you how to stop a widget from displaying. For that, we need to check the process ID from Conky. So if you use the command psaux with the grep Conky part, you can see the process ID. And now we are going to kill it with the command kill -9 and this ID. Now you can play a bit with this and activate all of the themes. So you can check, for example, this one that is black and red. You could modify the Conky file and you can modify the colors. I will show you now different themes where I got mine, the first one that you saw on the intro of the video. So you have here a lot of different ones and you can check the code. So let's, for example, copy this one. We are going to the default Conky folder and we are going to create a new folder called whatever you want, in my case, custom. Inside this folder, we need to create a Conky file with the content we have just copied from the internet page. So I will create a file called whatever you want, paste it, and Ctrl-O and Ctrl-X. Now to activate, we use the command Conky -C and the Conky file. So you can see that it is activated. I will install now Visual Studio Code just because for editing these Conky files is going to be way easier instead of just using the terminal. So for that we need to download the dev packages. I have already shown how is the process in other videos, so I will be fast with this. And we are going to modify also the launch options to add the Not Sandbox tags as we did with Chromium, because if not, the program won't launch. So I can use ULAUNCHER to run Visual Studio Code. And here we are going to open the Conky files. Also, another option is if you have already the terminal in the correct path, you can open any file with the command you're seeing right now. Code, the tag no sandbox, and the name of the file, and it will be opened directly on code. So here this is the Conky file and you can modify as you want. For example, here you can modify the message that appears in the widget, but you can modify anything you want, the other elements, the colors, etc. In my case, I'm not that used to modify the Conky files, so I will ask ChatGPT to modify it as you need, and you can deploy with the command you see. When you have finished, for example, I will remove the CPU percentage part because it doesn't work on Termux. So when you finish, you can just save the Conky file, and we need to put the Conky command into the startup of the session. So first we need the path to the Conky file. Here you can see that with the ls command you can do it fine. Copy it and we are going to look for the startup application. As we did in Plank, we are going to add a new entry, call it Conky, put whatever description you like, and here paste the path. But remember that at the beginning we need to add the Conky command, which is Conky -C and the path that we have just pasted. Now you need to restart the session so the changes are applied. When we restart the session, we can Ctrl-C everything and run the script again. We see that the widget is already deployed. So with that, we have customized everything. We have the Plank bottom dock, we have the Conky widget, we have modified the terminal with the STARSHIP, and we have installed some custom themes that are not in the usual page that I use. So I hope you like this video. This is one of the most longest videos that I have ever done, and you can do it in whatever distro you want, not just in Debian. So remember to leave a comment, a like, and subscribe to the channel.